everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. This month's issue, as you can see, comes with a Lord Ras Minifigure, and then this is also one of the magazines that comes with a bonus minifigure, which could potentially be different for everyone who buys this magazine. For me, unfortunately, it was Scuba Zane right here, but the bonus minifigure could pretty much be any minifigure from a previous magazine. But yeah, I say unfortunately with Scuba Zane because the last time we got a bonus minifigure, I also got Scuba Zane, and then of course I got him in the original magazine he came in, as well as in the actual Seabound sets, so this is now, what, my 5th Scuba Zane minifigure? I might even have a few more than that. So anyway, yeah, my point is, I have enough Scuba Zanes, so getting an extra one here isn't very exciting, would have preferred literally any other minifigure than this, but I am always happy to see when the magazines come with a bonus minifigure. Anyway, Ras himself's exciting, but we'll take a look at both of these figures later in this video. For now, I'm going to remove them so we can see the full cover of the magazine. So here's the full cover with the minifigures removed. You can see it says, LEGO toy, dangerous with a massive hammer. New ninja, learn their secrets. That's potentially interesting. I wonder if there's going to be any actual secrets in the magazine, or if it's all just going to be stuff we know from the show. We have an epic comic, which looks to be about a Mergequake. I'm excited for that. Monster Hunt Chaos. Can Lloyd save the dragons? And then also, I guess there's going to be a bit about Heatwave. So let's get this opened up and see what's inside. Here we have an advertisement for LEGO Dreams. They're really pushing that theme. And then we have the table of contents right here, which also has a little tiny game. And there's a very interesting graphic right there. And that looks to be Baby Ryu, but recolored green. That's very, very interesting. I assume that's just meant to be a generic baby dragon, and they didn't have the assets to create an entirely new character, so they just recolored Baby Ryu. But that's certainly weird to see. I'd be down for that to be an actual figure, though. I love when we get recolors of things. But anyway, now let's turn to the next page, and here we have the bio on Lord Ras. Boss of the Claw Hunters, no one's as fearless as Ras. He despises mistakes. Then he becomes even scarier than he already is and puts things to rights with full force. This villain is not to be trifled with. His head. On the outside, the head is fearsome, and on the inside, it's full of nasty plans. On the surface, he serves the Empress and hunts dragons. In the back of his mind, however, he has cunning intentions that'll surprise you. That's definitely interesting to think about. I think there's been other pieces of Ninjago media that have pointed towards that a little bit too, but it sounds like Ras isn't entirely working with the Empress, more that he's using the Empress for a bigger goal. They don't really indicate what that is with this magazine, but it definitely points towards something. Very excited to see where the show's going to go with that. Also, we got 2 arrows pointing to Ras, the first tiger villain, and also a hard hoodlum hammer. Not how I would describe it, but alright. Here we have a little game where we have to figure out what face is the right face paint, and then of course the instructions to build the figure as well as his weapon. And then turning to the next page, we have new heroes and neighbors. So I guess this is our info about the new ninja. I'm going to read through it all quickly. Feel free to pause the video if you want to read it for yourself, and I'll point out anything that I find especially interesting. Okay, it doesn't seem like anything too crazy going on here, just a basic summary of the characters we know from the first part of the season. Not like any hints towards anything here. I do find it kind of funny that Ryu has a thought bubble here, but then the rest of the page is just sort of like a seek and find game. So now turning the page once again, this is a little Imperium maze, then we have a coloring page for an Imperium guard, and then we are at the comic. So of course, as always, I'm not going to read the entire comic to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself, and if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I'll stop the video and point it out. Right off the bat though, I'm already seeing something. There's more of those recolored Ryus. We have the lime green one again, but then we also have a teal one. Those genuinely do look quite cool. I would love if they were real. But again, I just feel like it's something the magazine's probably made up. Anyway, there's lots of stuff going on here. We have 2 Venomarii here, and they're working on Knuckles ATV from 2011. There's one, the Skullkin in the back right here, as well as Monkey Wretch. One of the Sky Pirates even has like a speaking role. So now I'm gonna actually read this to see what it's all about. Alright, the Gecko and the Sky Pirate are fighting, but now they're in business together. Heading to the next page. So Rapton's out here hunting dragons, but they're also disguised as like construction workers. So we have all the Imperium Claw Hunters with construction helmets on, and that looks really funny. But then, uh-oh, it looks like a Mergequake's happening between the stalls. Also, oh my goodness, my boy's here. They actually put Chokan in the comic on the same page as Hydro Whipper. Hey magazine writers and artists, if you're watching this, in a future issue, could you please include Chokan next to Pyro Whipper? If that happened, that would be incredible to have that in an official piece of Ninjago media, because those are the 2 very best snakes. But having Chokan and Hydro in the same panel, I don't know, that's pretty close. And it looks like they are hanging out together too. Anyway, now turning to the next page, we have the Mergequake opening up, and that's an incredible panel right there with these 4 characters. But then of course we're at the break in the comic. So turning the page right here, we have another little game. This is Colt vs. Zane. You have to draw all these lines and like reflect them, and then figure out which of the 2 ninja wins. And then of course there's the posters in the center. The first is a render of a bunch of the different claw hunters, and it just says, "We are claw hunters." And you know what? Typically I wouldn't think that text is the best, but it kind of fits the vibe of the Imperium Claw Hunters from the show, because thinking about like that ad that Rapton put together to try to recruit people, this caption would make a lot of sense there. So if I see this more as like an in-universe like advertisement, I do actually quite like it thinking about it that way. But then turning it over, looking at the other side of the poster, oh wow, this is incredible. It says "Together we are stronger," and it's got illustrations of all 6 of the main characters from the first half of Dragons Rising. The yellow background's so pretty, and these guys fit on perfectly. I do think these are just the official renders of these characters, but they're like actually artistically styled, because sometimes in the magazine posters they just throw a filter on the official render and it looks really ugly. But no, even though these are clearly based off the renders, they actually look quite nice. They feel like they're designed for this poster. Yeah, this might actually be one of the best posters we've ever gotten. I really, really like this one. But now coming back to the magazine, we have 2 more games right here. This is just wanting to figure out what path leads from Kai to the car. Oh, and then this one I actually saw posted on Twitter and I wanted to talk about it. So we have Behind the Wave. Nia has lost control of her element and has poured water all over her friends. Who is behind the wave? Fill in the names in the boxes A to E. So I saw someone posted this on Twitter and they're like, hey, why is Ras in here? Is Ras a friend? And people were making a really big deal of it, but I feel like people weren't reading the entire page because it says right here, attention, not only friends are behind the wave. And obviously Lloyd's a friend, Aaron's a friend, Ryu's a friend, Sora's a friend. So Ras would be the not only friends behind the wave. There's no like deeper meaning here. It literally clarifies everything right there. So if any of you guys own Ninjago Twitter and were confused about that, there you go, it doesn't actually mean anything. But now turning to the next page, we are of course back to the comic. Okay, so Rapton's capturing the recolored Ryu's. Lloyd's fighting this monster that came out of the portal. The monster looks similar to the one we saw in the show in Cloud Kingdom, but it's got like crab claws instead. I'm curious as to why they redesigned that. Okay, and Lloyd closes up the Mergequake, and it looks like they got away with the dragons, but they weren't as successful as they were hoping. And that's of course the end of the comic. That was actually quite fun. I'm really enjoying these Dragons Rising comics. Maybe it's just because we had crystallized comics for so long and I just got tired of them. But yeah, nothing too crazy going on here, but it just does a little bit to help establish the world post-merge. We get more about Rapton and Ras, and most importantly, Chokon was in the comic. But of course, that's not everything with the magazine, so now let's turn to the next page. And this basically just looks to be an advertisement for the Heatwave set. There is a little comic about the set just using official images. It's kind of funny, it's implying Heatwave turning upside down. Is it jumping? That's very silly. But yeah, I don't have too much to say about this page. Here we have a dice rolling game, which if you're curious about, you can read the rules for yourself. But it actually seems quite unique. This is one that I could definitely have fun with. Then we have an advertisement for the LEGO Star Wars magazine, a Spot the Differences game with Zane's vehicle. And then finally at the end of the magazine, we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is going to come with an Aaron minifigure. Of course, he's one of the main characters of the new show, so he's a great one to get in the magazine. And this will now be by far the cheapest way to get that figure. Interestingly, it says 1 head, 2 faces. Now that's the case with a lot of Ninjago minifigures, but Aaron is not one of those minifigures. He only has a single-sided head. So that's probably just a mistake, though it would be cool if he somehow did have a double-sided face. And then finally right here, we have an Imperial display for your gear, and this is like a little box that you can cut out and store things in. And it's Imperium themed on that side or Ninja themed on the other side. But I think that's about all there is for the actual magazine. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of this video. For now, let me open up the 2 minifigure polybags that the magazine comes with. So here are the 2 minifigures I'll put together, of course, Lord Ras and Scuba Zane. Starting with Lord Ras, who's the minifigure that everybody will get if you get this magazine. This guy is incredible. One of the most detailed Ninjago minifigures of all time, just in the fact that he has arm printing. Like, there's a single-digit number of Ninjago minifigures ever to have arm printing. So the fact that we get one of them in a Ninjago magazine is amazing to see. Beyond that, though, he's a really important character in the show, so it's great to get him for cheap. And then also, yeah, this is now the cheapest way to get him, because the next cheapest way is in a 4+ set, which is $20. But if you're only looking at full-size sets, then I believe the cheapest was $55. He of course comes with his hammer as an accessory, which is a really good build. Slightly different to the one that he comes with in sets, though similar. But I do like that there's some variation there, and I think both look equally good. And it just gives you more options for ways to display this figure. The molded head's of course fantastic. I especially love like the magenta tiger stripes on him. And he also has the golden Imperium armor and an exclusive torso and leg piece. And the printing there is pretty spectacular. I like the sort of circuitry design coming down his robes. And the dark gray wrap for the undershirt actually looks quite nice as well. I love all the gold plating in the legs all the way down to the shoes. And then the back torso of course has the Imperium symbol on it. And that looks really nice as well. So while this isn't the most uncommon minifigure ever, he does come in quite a few sets. This is now officially the cheapest way to get him, and he's an important character in the show, so he's one that I'm very appreciative to have come in a magazine. And he's also just a good figure in his own right. So yeah, very happy that this guy's here, no complaints from me. And then Scuba Zane, I'm honestly not going to talk about too much, because I've covered this guy extensively many times before on the channel. You can go check out my review of the magazine that he originally came in, or the last time that I got him as a bonus minifigure, or even in my Every Zane minifigure ever video, which I just uploaded last week. Point is, I've covered this guy a lot. So if you don't have him yet and he happens to be your bonus minifigure, I mean, he is a good figure, I do like him, but at least personally for my own collection, I would have preferred literally anybody else. And so, overall, what are my thoughts on this magazine? This magazine's honestly fantastic. I am thoroughly impressed by it. It has pretty much everything I could possibly ask for in a magazine. There's fun games, the poster's actually really good this time around. The comic's enjoyable, not like the best ever, but it was good. The minifigure's a really good one to get, and this is also a magazine that comes with a bonus minifigure. And of course, personally, as you heard, I'm a little bit disappointed by my bonus minifigure. It may not be the same bonus minifigure for you guys if you get this magazine, and then also, of course, it is a bonus, so I can't really complain about getting something extra. So yeah, if you're in a country where this magazine's available, especially if you don't have a Lord Ras minifigure yet, I highly recommend you pick this one up, because both the magazine and the minifigure itself are really fantastic. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!